that time of the month again, where we take a look back at the store performance for Bricklink and Brick Owl, actually thrown in a little bit of eBay as well these days, but nevertheless, and how the store has performed on the usual metrics. So December, a very, very strange month, given that the store was actually closed, as it was last year as well. So comparing apples with apples is a little bit difficult. The store was closed for a little bit longer than last year. Brick Owl was closed for even longer than it was last year, simply because of that 3-day shipping rule, and you get kind of pinged if you don't meet those shipping requirements. So Bricklink was closed for 11 days as opposed to 8 last year, so only a 3-day difference. And Brick Owl was closed for 18 days as opposed to only 8 last year. So quite a significant difference on that front, which does skew the numbers slightly in terms of comparing month for month and year on year, but it does give you a picture of kind of the trend that is continuing. So in terms of inventory growth, declining over the month and into the start of the month of January, simply because didn't really buy any stock, haven't really put any stock in, and that time from when the store was closed, which you can see here from the 14th through to the 26th and 7th, was pretty much a flat line, nothing changed, and then things just fell away as orders were fulfilled. And it was a busy time in terms of orders as well. As you can see, quite a steep decline in lots, a little bit of a spike up when a bit of an order was put, a parts order went in, but then quickly fallen away again as orders were strong, which is great. So again, very little change on this inventory breakdown, given that used is continuing to sell of good quantity, but that hasn't been put into the store. New still accounts for 96 versus 4%. Its value still sitting at 95 over 5%. And lots, the new has increased 1%, even though no additional used has been put in. Although even on that chart you can see there was a bit of a spike here around the 5th of parts going in. So not a great shift in anything in terms of the inventory makeup. In terms of platforms, 85 of the sales came from Bricklink and 28 came from Brick Owl. That puts 75% from Bricklink, up from 69%. But when you consider there's a 10-day difference from Bricklink and Brick Owl in terms of opening, that's not too weird. Perhaps we'll see a bit more of a return to that 69, 70, 30 kind of split that we did as we move into January. And new versus old still sitting at that 91, moving up to 93, 9 moving down to 7. That probably reflecting a diminishing used inventory stock, although that will change in January as I will be adding some new used stock, if you know what I mean. Parts added and sold. I actually managed to add more than I sold, simply because the store was closed. And as you can see, that was only just by about just short of 800 parts being added, and it's been pretty steady through the month. The weeks, sorry, I should say, since 28, since we started recording it, no parts added in week 51 and 52, but that's where we've sat throughout the time of recording. Parts added and lots added year to date, again 51 and 52, nothing added. Not sure what this one really shows us, but over the course of the year to date, 259,036 parts added to the store, 9,118 lots added. Again, it just kind of shows you how difficult it is to maintain stock with everything going out of the door. It'll be more interesting as we go through January and we get to week 28 to try and see whether this kind of shows any evidence. I'm not sure it does. I'm not sure I'll continue with this one, really. Just maybe shift into a bit more of a policy of trying to hit 10 to 12,000 lots added, parts added per month, given that we're selling around 10,000 per month. Colours continue to be the usual suspects. Trans clear, pretty popular in December. Reddish brown, dark red, those kind of Christmassy colours coming to the fore. Red pretty low down, given that it was December, but white particularly strong. Light blue grey very strong, but the usual suspects, nothing untoward showing up there. Total sales then, as you would imagine, plummeted, down 47.9% in December. Pretty much more than half the month lost in Brick Owl and a third of the month lost from Bricklink. So significant drop, as was the case in revenue, a 48.7% drop in revenue. Worst month of the year, obviously, for total sales, 113, way below December last year, which again was a drop of 21% back a year ago. So interesting to see that, but it does show that being able to keep the store open during December, which I know a few stores do, just say that their shipping is going to be delayed, could be a possibility moving forward. Personally, if you're ordering it, I think having 10 or 15 days worth of backlog is insurmountable to try and catch up on. In terms of that revenue split, as you would expect, with Bricklink being significantly longer open, 92% of revenue came from Bricklink, up from 78%, and Brick Owl accounted for 8%, given that it was only open for 12 days of the month. Items sold, again, the lowest of the year to date, 19,279. That's a drop of 45%. We'll hope that January sees that bounce back, and equally, percentage of the inventory sold was the worst of the month, but not too far behind September, which still stands out as an absolute horror month at 3.4%. December going down as a pretty poor month, but as I keep saying, if you're closed, you are not selling. In terms of the monthly financials, PayPal accounted for 76%, slightly up on the month before. Stripe continuing to be strong. Generally, the majority of Stripe sales come from Brick Owl, so again, that's reflected, and it's worth noting that almost half of all Brick Owl sales that were recorded were from Stripe. And the breakdown of expenditure, fees accounted for 5%. Stock purchasing was up significantly on the month before. Those numbers needed to shift round. I should have done that. Postage was 7%. Office supplies, which pretty much accounted for buying some plastic tubs, was 3%. Other, which is refunds and advertising in Blocks magazine, was 1%, and profit was 54% of total revenue. Weekly sales, as you can see, tracking along ahead of the curve until we got to week 51, where it plummeted. And I should say that week 1 and 2, which aren't recorded here, have been ahead of 2024's figures. So it'll be interesting to see this pan out across January to see where we are tracking, where the store is a bit more comparable than it was back in 2023. Year on year, a tale of two halves really. 2023 Bricklink way outperformed Bricklink in 2024, whilst Brick Owl slightly outperformed 2023 in 2024, continuing quite a strong performance from Brick Owl through that last quarter of 2024, and we'll hope to see that continuing in 2025. The store has increased by 233% over that 12 months, and lots are 65% increased. Year on year, revenue and average sales have significantly dropped as a result of that month, 22.5 and 7.4% decreases. Average orders per day dropped from done that the wrong way around. Anyway, it was a drop of 18.2% a month year on year from I think it was 3.6 in 2024, not 7.2. And orders over $100 were actually up, 19 of them in 2023 and 21 of them in 2024, which is a 58% increase seemingly, which seems crazy, but there you go. Weekly average sales, as you can see over there in 51 and 52, slightly down on 2023, and week 51 had no sales at all. Week 1 for 2025 was just a smidge under 2024. Again, kind of things coming back online, but it was, I think it was like 60 cents below or something like that, so pretty comparable, and we'll see how that tracks over the coming weeks. Year on year, this continues to tell the story of being closed for longer through December. Bricklink monthly sales down, Brick Owl monthly sales up, as you already know. Orders per day slightly down, as I said, 3.6 as opposed to 5.7 as it was. Store growth slightly up on November's, taking us back towards where we were in August. That's taken a little bit of a hit since then, and we'll try and get back on track through January. And items sold in the month slightly down on December 2024, but only just, and we will hope to see January rebound. So the crucial numbers, as you can see, in December, Bricklink parts finished up on November, which is good. Lots finished down on November. Bricklink fans up, the usual kind of increase. Average sales down, as I said. Items sold significantly down due to that closure, as is the total orders. YouTube subscribers, nice little increase, good flurry over the Christmas period, which was really good. That reflected in the total views increasing, and Instagram followers taking a nice little bump as well. That one steadily growing. Store buyer locations, New South Wales taking it out for the second consecutive month, and WA continuing its strong performance, starting to kind of creep closer and closer to Victoria. Overseas continuing that strong performance as well, being a lot from New Zealand and Australia, perhaps a reflection of the Australian dollar's weaker performance against the greenback, as they like to call it on the news. Kind of incoming new presidency in the States having an effect on monetary policy, I think, around the world. But it has increased orders here, with a few from Asia as well, perhaps a reflection of the closure of Bricklink's China operations. In terms of store position, one of the stores, I can't remember which one it was now, maybe Queensland Bricks or something like that, has obviously closed for the period, which has bumped the store up 1 in the overall. I'm sure that will bump back down once we see them reopen, but nice to be up there. And in terms of the WA market, big gap to Brick Den. They continue to build their store, but definitely from my kind of tracking of sales, their weekly sales are far below others around them. So they kind of grow their store, but certainly don't do as many sales as other people. Perhaps their sale value is greater than others, and that's how they kind of manage to keep growing without worrying too much about it. Anyway, that's where we are on the kind of the top 5. Bricks Warehouse way out in the lead still. Bricks to the World dropped below that million once again. I would make a dent in that Bricks Warehouse total if I could, but still banned from there as they seek to patch protect, you'd have to say, as there's no other WA stores banned from buying from them that I'm aware of, despite that being their rationale. In terms of Australia-wide, up again on the month before, 756 stores. We are still 17 down on November. That predominantly probably from people being closed for the holidays. but we shall see as we get to the end of January. So January's objectives are to grow the inventory back to something around that 580,000 parts. Obviously we have been beyond that on times, but we will try and get back to that by the end of the month and break that 14,500 lots barrier. Key to that kind of store growth and investment will be increasing the eBay inventory. That's pretty much minifigures that I'm putting on there. Whilst eBay fees are a little bit of a killer, it is a market that does tick along quite nicely, and given the volume of minifigures in the store, it's important that they turn over at a bit more of a pace to help reinvestment. And through January, I am going to be working on the 2025 business plan for the store. There is a lot to consider this year, both in our personal life for the wife and I, and what we will be doing with the store, and the objectives for it moving forward through the year, where we see it going and how much of a part it will play in our master plan. So stay tuned for more of that. Not the brightest of monthly performance reviews, as you will have taken from there, and as I've said multiple times, a consequence of the store being closed over the month. January will no doubt be a much different story. We are halfway through the month and it is already much better than it was in December. So thank you everybody that watches and plays a part in keeping the store ticking along, everyone that shops and contributes to the videos. Please do like and subscribe down below. If you have questions about the store, feel free to leave them down below, or jump onto the Discord channel. That is a growing little community of people sharing knowledge and facts and helping each other. It's really quite a cool thing. So the link for that is down in the comments below, with all of the other links to get involved. Thanks again for watching. I'll be back kind of early January with January's videos, and I'll see you then. Cheers.